What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. This is Jake, and we have a special guest today. My partner in crime over here, Brandon. He is the co-founder of our agency, and essentially the workflow we're going to be going through, I brought him on because he's actually the one that made this. Because we do kind of a division of labor kind of situation where we each make different workflows at the same time to help us do it quicker. But essentially, he'll be helping with the process of anything that I might not be able to explain in a moment's notice. And so today we're going to be going over a workflow that's going to basically take resumes from inbound job applications and it's going to rank them 1 through 10 to find qualified candidates for your job postings. And whether you're selling this workflow or whether you're utilizing it for your own business, it's going to really help with the amount of time you're going to be spending looking at resumes, and it's going to eliminate that completely, actually. So you're only talking to qualified candidates. And not only will it rank the resumes so that you're getting just the qualified candidates, it's also going to send those qualified candidates. And I'll share my screen here so Brandon can follow along. And it's not only going to rank those candidates, it's also going to send the qualified candidates a customized email saying, hey, we liked XYZ about your resume, think you'd be a good fit for the position, here's a link to schedule an interview. So from the hirer's perspective, all they need to do is show up for the interview and then they're good to go, right? And maybe, hopefully, they read the resume before. Anyways, to walk through the workflow, essentially it's going to watch the rows for any new applications that are submitted, and I'll show you where that's coming from in a moment here. It's going to automatically trigger, and then it's going to download the resume. It's going to parse that text and extract it, and then it's going to put that into a database. That database is what the LLM, which we're using ChatGPT, is going to call back to essentially figure out where the resume ranks, right? And we train this to make sure that, hey, it's only qualifying candidates for our position. Today we're looking at a position for life insurance sales, but you can make this for anything. And then it's going to update that rank. And again, we're going to use the database back here, which is Google Sheets for us, to call back that information downstream and say, okay, are they an unqualified candidate or are they a qualified candidate? If they're a qualified candidate, we'll basically make that customized email and update the database again. And then it'll go to the secondary workflow here, where it takes that personalized email, sends it out to them with the interview request and the scheduling link. All right, now let's jump right into it. Hey, let me get this out of the way. Cool. So before we start off with anything, we're actually going to have to go to Google Forms. And the reason why we're using Google Forms is because, one, it's free, and two, the already integrated forms that are in things like Indeed and LinkedIn and what have you, typically it's very difficult or sometimes impossible to use any kind of API or to actually extract that data in terms of what resume they submitted or what information they submitted. And it's definitely very difficult and sometimes impossible without paying. And so we're going to use this Google Forms because it's 100% free. And so we'll just call it Sample Life Insurance Agent. And then you can put whatever you want for the description, blah, blah. And then we'll add a couple questions here. We'll do name, number, some sort of qualifying question. Now, you probably want to make this quite a bit more robust if you're doing it for an actual job post. But today we're just going to say something like, are you good at life sales? And then it'll just be yes or no. And then we're also going to add a place for them to upload their resume. We just got to link it to our Google Forms. It's our Google Drive. It's automatically going to create a folder in Google Drive where all this lands. And we'll show you later downstream in the flow how to actually access that. And so the question is going to be, please upload a PDF file resume or something like that. Allow only PDFs. And then we're also going to want to go here and we're going to link the sheets to our database, which we'll just call it Sample Life agent candidates. Great. And then also in the settings, we go responses, responder input for email, presentation, show progress bar. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, Brandon, I think that should be it, really.
Yeah, should be good.
And we'll publish it. And then we will just fill out a form right quick. So email, jake@quantumflowai.net, name, Jake Parent, number. Of course I am. And then we'll just upload a resume. And I already made a sample resume that's just a mock resume that should be a qualified candidate through ChatGPT. And we'll just submit this form. And we see here, look at this. We got into our database. Okay. So now that we have that, we can build the flow. So let's go over here. Google Sheets, watch new rows. Should be, I believe, sample live agent candidates. Form response. Limit, I guess, doesn't really matter. ID will be all. And then Google Drive, download a file. And then make sure you're connected to the right Google Drive here. I'm already connected to mine, and if you haven't connected to any of this before, you really just do add and you pretty much just sign in with Google. It's pretty dang easy because it's native integration inside of make.com. And then to actually get the resume, we essentially have to take the end string right here because it already gets the HTTP, Google Drive, whatever this part. And so we basically say, okay, this right here is 33 characters. Oh, let me click. So everything before this part is 33 characters. So we only want the part that's after 33 characters because it's going to call this specific resume that's a link to me, Jake Parent here. So we do substring, and then we snag this guy right here, and then we do 33 because it's 33 characters later. And we'll just run once, make sure that works. Sweet. So we got this. You can see we got the resume somewhere in there. And then we're going to go to pdf.co. Now there's a couple different sites and tools and whatnot that can basically get the text from a PDF file. This one is just super cheap and super easy. They give you a lot of free credits, and so it's pretty easy to use. If you want to do that at scale, you probably have to sign up for their, their package, which is like $10 a month or something. And so for this, let's see, PDF to text, convert type. Hang on. Oh, there it is. Upload a file. Good. PDF to text. No layout fast. That's blank inline. And then I believe download a file. Or no, sorry. JSON output. JSON output. Yeah. That's why it's here. All right. Value must not be empty. I'm supposed to be putting some. It's because we.
Oh, it's because you already went in it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just go ahead and assume that it works for right now. And we're going to go to the next part, and then we'll just add a new person at the end of all of this to show you that the whole workflow works and it's good to go. So next we're going to do update a row, and we'll just call this and then we're going to have to make a new Google Sheets for this. And The reason why we have to do that is because anytime you want to do things in this same Google Sheets that gets the information directly from the Google Forms, it kind of messes things up. And, I don't really know if there's any way to do it without messing it up. And so it's a lot easier just to make a secondary database. So this one remains as a source of truth. We're not messing it up later down the flow. And so we'll just go to Google Drive, new Google Sheets, sample database for life agent candidates. And let's see what kind of should have I believe it's the inbound info. Yeah. And so these are all the different, because we already made this previously. So it's just the same time here. We're just going to copy and paste the headers. And so the headers that you're going to want are, of course, first name, last name, email, phone number, resume, resume rank, email sent, date applied, customized email, can commute, location, has license, blah, blah, blah. All the other stuff that we added to ours, but we didn't add to this one. So I'll just copy and paste this in, even though we're not going to be using all of those fields. And in fact, we probably should separate this into first name and last name, so we don't have to, do any kind of filtering later where we have to separate the first and last name. So we're not emailing them with, hey, blank first name and blank last name. All right, thinking that'll update automatically. We'll see. If not, we'll fix that later. Cool. All right, cool. We got that in there. And now we're just going to do the mapping here. So should be sample database for life agents. There it is. Sheet 1. Row number is just going to be the row number from the watch new rows. And then we're going to go, yeah, we probably should do that first name, last name. We should get that updated, but we'll worry about it later. I'll update that later. So phone number, email address, and the resume should be just that. And then let's see. And so this is also going to be what you're going to be accessing when you want to click on the resume. And so when you're going for your candidates, you're going to go to this sheet right here. You're going to go to resumes, and then you're going to be like, okay, I'm talking to Bob here. So I'm going to get Bob's resume, or whoever we have in the database. And then timestamp, which can be date applied. Hang on 1 second, gonna pause. 1. All right, sorry about that. So we're back at it. So where did we leave off? Okay, so let's see. We now just need resume text extracted. I think that's it.
I think that comes from the objects value, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Objects value.
Body, yeah.
Body, yada, yada. Okay. And then I will make the ChatGPT. That should be create a completion. Then we're also have to make a quick filter between these two. Well, I guess for this one, we don't have to, but essentially it'll be really easy if there's any specific things in your form here, which I will pull up this one, that are absolute exclusions to your candidates, like potentially location, job history, if they have current licenses, things like that. You can add the exclusion directly into this filter. Basically, if it's like a yes or no question, so let's say that they're authorized to work in the United States, like we have in another flow that we made just like this one. You can add the exclusion here, and you can input the information here equal to no, right? And then we can exclude them exactly, or equal to, excuse me, other way around, equal to yes. If you want to exclude the people that cannot work in the United States, and you want to be no, it'll be not equal to. So moving on to this is going to be the resume ranker. This is where the magic happens. Resume ranker. So it's going to be create completion. GPT and OL models. Same thing with the OpenAI connection as we did with the Google Sheets and whatnot. All you do is, you have to add your API key and potentially your organization ID. Then you get that all through the ChatGPT interface. If you guys need any help with that, feel free to comment below and I'll make a quick video on it. So, model. We can do, really it's pretty easy for it to rank the resume. And so you can even do, let's say, like O4 Mini to save on tokens. And then we'll add a message, role. Going to be this system. And we're going to say, you are helpful recruiting assistant that ranks resumes. You only output plain text, rank from 1 to 10. This is essentially defining who your system is. So we're telling them that they are a helpful assistant. And then the next thing is going to be, or actually input the information. So that's going to be user, our context is going to be from the resume here, should be object value. And we just type rank this resume. Let's see. From 1 to 10. For the role, insurance sales representative. And ChatGPT is pretty smart, so it knows what important qualifications are for a sales insurance representative already. If you want to get more particular or more dialed in for specific talents or job history, things like that, you can add it into this text context here. But we're also going to give it a couple of rules. Rule number 1 is going to be only output single number. Example. 1, 2, 3, etc. 2, do not include any reasons, brackets, or other information. This is very helpful to have, these two at the very least, because ChatGPT often likes to explain its answers. And so it'll say, yeah, we ranked this resume 1 because, of XYZ qualification. Let's say they're a corn farmer, and so they wouldn't probably be very good at life insurance sales. I mean, maybe you still want to talk to a corn farmer. In that case, this is probably not the right flow for you, because we're looking for qualified candidates here. But it likes to give explanations in short. And so let's avoid it from giving explanations, because downstream, we want to use just the exact number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., to qualify them as, qualified candidate or not qualified candidate. And then we'll just tell it again, output in plain text only. And it also likes to give brackets and other stuff. And so you essentially just have to tell it not to do those things. Otherwise, it'll just start making assumptions and start thinking, hey, maybe I should add explanations and whatnot. And then we're cooking here. We're almost done. Another update row. And this again is going to be our sample life agents candidates response. And row number is going to be that row number from the beginning right here. And then the resume rank. Oh, this is the wrong sheet. Sorry about that. So resume rank is just going to be choices, message, content. And I believe that's all we need here. Let's go ahead and save. Just rename this update rank. Then we're just gonna add a quick sleep here. Just for 4 seconds, just so everything can catch up. And a router. And this is going to say, okay, we're going to route 2 different places. It doesn't matter which one is where, gets the same job anyways. We'll just make the first one unqualified. And the condition is going to be our choices message content is less than or equal to numeric operator, that's important, 5. Or you can make it higher, you can make it 6, whatnot. Depends how critical you want to be of your candidates. And then the second one's going to basically be the inverse of that. So it's going to be qualified. Then we're going to do probably just should message content. Oh, doesn't like that I put the 2 there. Whatever, I'll just snag it. Numeric operator is greater than or equal to. We'll just do 7. And then first one, which is the unqualified candidates, we're going to update a row. And it's going to be our sample database. Sheet name, sheet 1. Row number is always going to be that row number. And then put the resume rank right here. Oh, resume rank's already in there. So we're just going to do customize email, no email sent because they're unqualified. And then email sent, unqualified. We're going to do another ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Okay. Great completion. auto. Again, it doesn't really matter. If it's writing emails, you might want to make it a little bit of a nicer email, so maybe or nicer system, so maybe turbo. Then first role is always going to be system, and then there's a little bit more content going on this one, so I'm going to just copy and paste from our last flow. I'm going to pull that up over here to save us some time, and I'll just leave it up and read through it so you guys can copy it. So you say you are a helpful writing assistant designed to write an email as an outbound life insurance agent recruiter. You're reaching out to potential people who have deemed a good fit for the insurance agent position. Now for system, you don't always need this much content. Sometimes more content is worse, but we found that this just works, and so no harm just keeping it that way. You can even just include you are a helpful writing and email writing assistant and just leave it at that, or a helpful recruiting assistant and just leave it at that. But there's nothing wrong with having a little bit more. User. And then we're gonna go ahead and copy and paste again, because this one is much, much more robust. We're gonna do a lot of training for this one. So context is again gonna be that object values right here. And then the rules can be professional, Spartan, and brief in your response. Use factual information only based on provided contents. Don't make anything up. Don't include any hyperbolic language, emojis, and don't be overly excited. Essentially, if you ever used ChatGPT before, you know that it likes to be very excited, and it likes to just agree with whatever you say. And so you kind of have to give it these rules to help it follow the criteria of how you want your emails to be formatted. Now, you can play around with this if you want your emails to come out a little bit different, but this is what works for us. Make the replies into the reason they would be a good fit for the life insurance agent role by referencing the context provided. Do not just list out qualifications back to them. And you can even add something like abbreviate when possible, so that it feels more human, right? So instead of saying a past company they worked at, they'll say something like, hey, saw you worked at Systems Flow, instead of if it's like Systems Flow LLC Incorporated, blah blah blah. Do not include the resume header information, phone number, email, or address in the email. Hate that you have to say that to this guy. Have the email be a maximum of 4 brief sentences. We don't want to write this person a whole book. Do not include the subject line, a greeting or salutations in the body of the email. Only output the body of the email. This is because we're actually going to format it in a way where we include the greeting and salutations along with the, signature of the email that's already output into how we're going to be sending our emails. So we're just going to input the body in between that information. Make the email more human and have a warmer, personable undertone. The first line of the email should be thanking them for applying on. And then this one we don't really need, because normally it would include what job board they applied on, because the idea is that you'd post this across a whole bunch of different job boards, and inside this right here you just add a line that said, hey, which job board did you apply onto? Because we're not going to be able to distinguish it otherwise, and it'll be helpful as the hiring person to be able to distinguish of which job boards are getting the most people. Now we're not going to include that because we're just doing bare bones here just to show you how the flow works. So we're just going to get rid of this one. And 9, the last line should be an invitation to discuss the position further. And then you can even include a link. Again, we're not going to do that this time as well. And the link we can just hard code into the other flow, the subflow that we have designed for this, which I'll show you how to do that. And then we're going to do one more, and this is going to be an assistant. And the assistant's role is basically you just show it, hey, this is how I want the email to look. So here's an example of the general structure to follow. Thank you for applying on LinkedIn for the insurance agent position. And so we're just going to say thank you for applying for the insurance agent position. Your background in customer service and financial analyst would be invaluable in understanding client needs, blah, blah, blah. We believe in your skills could be greatly benefited on our team. and help you solve this rule. Looking forward to possibly discussing this job opportunity with you further. So this is kind of a general rubric of what your assistant here is going to follow. And that should be it for the ChatGPT. And then last thing on this flow is going to update the row again. And we're going to go here and we're going to go to sample database. No, it was sample database. Sheet name, sheet 1, row number, is again going to be row dot number, I believe. It doesn't like that. Okay, whatever. And all we're going to do is in customize email, we're going to, and you can see how this is glowing right here, so you know you're selecting the right one. Choices, message, content. And that's it. So that'll finish the first flow. Now we're going to be going on to the subflow. And so we'll call this sample inbound resume ranker dash email crafter. It doesn't matter. Save changes. Create a new scenario. And now that the bulk of the work's done, this one's going to be really easy in comparison. So we're just going to go search rows. And it's going to be coming from our sample database, sheet 1. Filter. We are going to add a filter here, so it's going to be email sent. We're just going to do does not exist, right? And so any of the candidates that make their way into the Google Sheets, including the unqualified candidates, they will not get an email if they got an email already. And so this inherently fixes any kind of duplication problems with sending the same email to the same person multiple times. And then we're going to go to email, send an email, and perfect. Always make sure it's to the right one. Save message after sending. Then we're going to go right here where it should be their email. Subject is just legitimately what you want the subject to be. So life insurance sales job opportunity, or interview request, or link the name of your company, whatever you want to do. And then the content. So the content you have to write in HTML, and my partner here is much better at that, and so he actually built this out. And so I'm just going to copy and paste what he built out here. And so you do hello, and then you just code in the first name, and then BR with the less than and greater than symbols is just going to be line break, because that's what the HTML understands. And then you do customize email. That's going to be legitimately whatever comes in the customize email field, and we'll show you what that looks like in a second. And it says we would like to schedule you for an interview. Here's a Calendly link to book, because this is going to come right after the customized email. And then you just include your Calendly link in there, or whatever your booking service is to schedule. And you say best regards, and type your name, Jake Parent. And then you just add your signature card here. So whatever your signature is, say, have a great life. Doesn't matter. So you just add in your signature here, and then you're good to go for that part. And then lastly, and this can be the last module of the entire flow, we can do update. And then you're gonna go sample database, sheet 1, row number. And then all we're gonna update here is email sent, yes. Maybe make it a capital Y so it looks better. And that's it, we're done. The one last thing to note is you probably want to schedule this to run like, every 15 minutes, every 5 minutes, something like that. Operationally, it's very, very low cost because it's only 3 modules and it won't even run if there's any new data. And so you can just schedule this to run every however many times you want to run per day. Once per minute is totally fine. Once every 15 minutes, also probably fine because either way, your candidates are going to get an email pretty dang quick after they submit it. So if you want to make it seem human, maybe run it 3-4 times a day. So they're like, okay, this guy's not just emailing me right away. It's obviously not a bot, or well, hopefully not obviously. And candidate booking email. Cool. And now let's run this through and let's make sure that everything works. So first, we have to scenarios. Where'd it go? Categorized. Here we are. Right at near the bottom, of course. Cool. So let's go here. All right, and we'll fill out the form. Email Jake at quantumflowai.net. Jake. Parent. 5, 5, 5, 5. Of course I am. And then I'll add this sample resume in again. Submit. Let's see also if it updates this. No, it just updates to first name. Okay, so we're gonna have to really quick make some adjustments here. Should be right here, responses, even sheets. Just gonna do this first, and then select destination, and then we'll do true sample, just to make it easy. Data, create. All right, cool. And then that's basically not gonna exist anymore, so no problem. Email. FlowAI.net. Jake, parent. My Google Meeting just broke down. We lost Brandon. I'm gonna log back into that real quick. All right, let's see. Cool. Continue to share my screen for him. Chill. Alrighty, so number, where we leave off. Here we go. Yes. Moment of truth. First name, last name, perfect. And then we can update that in here to our be true true. Sample data. Form response. It's fine. I don't think any of this needs to get remapped. I think that should all be good. One thing that we do need to add is first name, last name. Sweet, and that should be good to go. Let's save this. Moment of truth. I see you're in there. Please upload a PDF resume. Why didn't it work? Because it's old data. Why did this not work? Okay, try it again. Oh, this is attached to number. Stupid. Because we added a row. Okay, that's on me. Okay, sweet. So this guy was definitely qualified, right? And so we had him go through. We could see that the messages worked for each of them. So let's see how they ranked him. Go right here, and they ranked him 9. Solid rank, dude. And then this is the message that it actually outputs. You demonstrate ability to surpass sales targets and maintain strong client relationships. And I'll show you guys, I guess, the resume we made. It was just this guy, Alex Johnson. Basically includes all his information, says he was a senior life insurance agent. You know, that's where they got that from, 120% of annual sales targets. So you can see that it was able to scrape that resume and then it used the information in that resume to create a customized message that feels personal and hopefully human. You know, and it talks about his other qualifications, your experience mentoring and community education, blah, blah. We believe in expertise, insurance solutions would enhance our clients' offerings significantly. Kind of just talks him up a bit and says, hey, you know, would love to talk with you essentially. And so that works. I'm going to save changes there. Go down here, candidate booking. All right, and now let's look at the sample database. You can see resume extracted right here. The actual content of the email right there. Then everything else, right? We missed, because we added a row that we missed. Misadded that. Okay, that's no problem. I'll show you guys how to fix that. So phone number should be, and that's because we updated this the first sheet, and so everything got mismatched. Now we have to remap it, or maybe I did it the first time and just didn't notice. Who knows? Cool. And I don't think we need any of that to actually send the email. We really, oh no, we do need his email, of course, naturally. Can I have this run on old data? Maybe I can just change something in here. Jakey. No. Okay. Well, you know, this is why we do the builds live, right? So you can see all the annoying stuff you have to go through when you're building it. It's not all just sunshine and rainbows and easy the first time. It's usually a pain in the ass to build these things, so. Check out. Flow AI document. Whatever. Yes. Resume. Submit. And I'm gonna double check this because I do not want to have to go through that again. Email, phone, accept a PDF file, date stamp. Should be good. Should be good. Should be good. Okay, moment of truth part 3. Nice. You notice here there's some variance in the ranking, so let's see if he got the same rank again. Sometimes he'll get, nope, he got 9 again. Fairly consistent. This is going to be a little different as well, of course, because it's personalized and unique every time. Okay. So now we should be able to go back and send the email. Okay. And I'm just going to get rid of this first guy because he's all messed up. Delete row. For some reason there's a blank row here. Don't know what that's all about. Just going to delete it. I'm just going to make it a normal size row just because I'm OCD. Jake, parent, Jake Quantum, Flow AI, I spelled it right. Here's the resume. So when you're referencing it, you can just come to this Google Sheets every time. Resume rank 9, email not sent yet, of course, date applied, custom messages, and then some other criteria that you can include into your, and then of course this says Alex Johnson because it's a fake resume. But this is just some other stuff that you can include into your Typeform or Google Forms, whatever you want to call it, so that you can further filter and exclude different people and just make sure you get more qualified candidates. All right, moment of truth. Google Sheets, email, sweet, looks like it's sent. Should have sent this, and there it is. Of course, I'm CC'd on my own email, but it says, hello Jake, your extensive experience at Secure Life Insurance and Guardian Group, where you exceed sales targets and mentor junior agents, highlights your potential to thrive in our team. We value your proven ability to maintain a high client retention rate and your expertise in needs assessment. Would you be interested in discussing how your background and skills could be a fit for our team further? We would like to schedule you for an interview. Here's a Calendly link to book. And then of course you just include your Calendly link and then you get the signature here, best regards, Jake Parent, and here's, the true signature, but I didn't make one. So that's it, end to end, done to done. That is a fully built out automated system that will automatically rank and email qualified candidates so that you don't have to read through all your resumes and so you don't have to essentially do all this work yourself. and it's pretty much infinitely scalable. So however many people apply to your job boards, you can do this for each of them. So especially if you have jobs that are very high demand and you're getting tens or hundreds even resumes a day, this can be a super helpful system to make sure that you can save your time and just show up to the meetings, opposed to having to do all this filtering manually, which we know we want to use that time to actually work in our business and do revenue producing activities, opposed to just talking to people that are realistically rarely a good fit in the first place. Anyways, that's it from us today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, if you liked it, like and subscribe, if you feel so inclined. Otherwise, feel free to comment on anything else you'd like to see, or if there's any other ways you think about this or anything additional you'd like to add to this flow, or just, comment how you're feeling today. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Cheers.